Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Ringba Getting Started Guide. In this video, we'll do a quick overview of the Ringba call tracking platform and teach you how to create your first campaign. We'll then review setting up targets, publishers, and how to use our advanced reporting interface. In case you're not familiar, Ringba is an enterprise call tracking platform that allows you to track all of your marketing efforts and phone calls regardless of whether they're online or offline. All of our statistics are delivered in real time, and we have some amazingly powerful optimization tools at your disposal. Our platform is hosted on Amazon Web Services all around the world, and our engineering teams are located in San Diego and San Francisco, California. Business development support is located in the United States and Europe, giving you access to account managers 24 hours a day. Ringba has a wide variety of clients, including pay-per-call businesses, affiliates, affiliate networks, call centers, lead brokers, brick-and-mortar businesses, and e-commerce stores. Regardless of how you generate your calls, Ringba will help you improve your return on investment. Ringba tracks every call by source. A source may be a phone number, a marketing campaign, a partner, publisher, affiliate, or whatever you're doing to generate your calls. We also manage all of your call sales to targets or buyers, which are usually call centers or brokers. If this is your first time logging into Ringba, you'll notice the banner at the top which asks you to verify your credit card information. Please make sure to upload the required documents or we will be unable to bill your card. To get started creating your first campaign, select the Campaigns menu and click Create Campaign. The easy-to-follow wizard will walk you through creating everything. Inside of Ringba, all calls run through a campaign. First, we'll name our campaign. The name of your campaign will be used throughout the Ringba platform and in the reporting interface to see all of your calls. Next, we'll select our country, and for this example, we'll be using the United States. Ringba has on-demand phone numbers available, toll-free and local, in over 50 countries. Next, we'll configure your tracking number. If you'd like a toll-free phone number, select the switch. Otherwise, you'll receive a local DID. Since you don't have any publishers in the system, the number is automatically assigned to you. Click Get My Number, and we'll configure your target. The target is the receiving party of any call that's routed into the Ringba platform. First, you name your partner. Select your target type. We are able to connect calls to DIDs, toll-free numbers, or SIP addresses, depending on what your target requires or accepts. Whenever possible, you'll want to connect to your targets using SIP. SIP has higher voice quality and faster connection times, resulting in a higher conversion rate. Enter the phone number. You must include the country code with every number entered into the Ringba system, and select the target time zone. If you'd like to track the revenue associated with this call center, click the switch. Click Forward Calls to Target, and your campaign will be finished. Since we selected the Track Revenue switch, Ringba will track payouts for publishers and revenue generated from targets for this campaign. Enter in the amount of money that your call center is paying per call, and select the conversion event for the call to successfully convert. In this case, we'll bill them for any call that's connected. Next, we'll configure the publisher payout settings. If you're paying your publishers per call, select Fixed Payout. If you're paying your publisher on a revenue share, select Revenue Share. For a fixed payout, we enter the amount of money that we're paying the publisher per call and what payout trigger that we will pay the publisher on. In this case, we'll pay the publisher on inbound call, which will pay them every single time they send a call into the Ringba tracking number. Click Connect Publisher to Target, and your campaign is created. Now that our campaign is created, we can test the number and see Ringba work its magic in real time. Simply call the number Ringba displays, and it will update automatically as soon as that call is connected to show you how our system works and how fast it actually is. Success! As you can see, I called the number from my phone and was successfully connected to the target. Ringba updated and tracked it in real time. So now that your campaign is finished, click Go Live. Ringba sends you to the campaign details page. On this page, you can see specific information about all of the calls that have been routed for this campaign. As you notice, my call showed up as 1 on Friday, September 1st. Ringba tracks all the revenue and all of the payout for this specific campaign and allows you to chart this information in real time as calls happen. As you scroll down the page, you'll see the general information settings, including the campaign ID, campaign name, optional tracking ID, number formatting for number pools, duplicate routing rules, and whether or not you want to record the call. Ringba allows you to manage your duplicate calls however you would like. If you leave the setting to route normally, Ringba will automatically send your calls to targets based on your routing plan rules. If you select Route to Original, Ringba will send all of your duplicate calls to the original buyer or target that received them the first time. If you select Route to Different, Ringba will automatically sell your calls to unique and different targets every time a caller calls, maximizing the amount of money you can receive from your targets. We typically find that most campaigns have 15 to 25% duplicate calls. If you have multiple buyers for those campaigns, you can sell those calls multiple times and drastically improve your revenue per call. Next, we have the payout settings for your campaign. Payout settings allow you to track all of your publisher payouts for all the calls they send. Publishers receive their own access to Ringba reporting so that they can log in and see all of their statistics and payments that are due for all of their tracking numbers inside of the Ringba platform. You can pay out your publishers on call length, which sets a minimum amount of seconds before they receive a payment, call successfully connected, which means your publishers will only be paid if that call was connected to a target, inbound call, which pays your publishers on raw calls, or converted call, which pays your publisher when a call converts either by postback pixel or if the target marks the call as converted. Here you can adjust your payout amount and set whether or not you will pay publishers on duplicate calls. You can pay your publishers on duplicate calls, not pay them on duplicate calls, or set a specific time limit to pay your publishers on duplicate calls. If your campaign requires specific hours, you can set payout rules on a publisher level. If you need to, you can pay your publishers only on days that your targets are open between set operating hours. If you need to, you can limit your publisher payouts by capping a global cap, a global dollar amount cap, a monthly dollar amount cap, a daily dollar amount cap, an hourly dollar amount cap, or a concurrency cap. Concurrency is the number of simultaneous calls that are being sent by your publishers. In the event that you want to adjust all of those individual settings on a publisher level, you can set specific publisher level settings for each individual publisher. This allows you to override the default, pay your publishers differently, or change the payout criteria for specific publishers. Call tracking tags are specifically for number pool tracking, which we will not be covering in this demo. Next is your call routing plan. Your call routing plan includes all of your targets and the configuration of how you want your calls sent to them. Each individual target has specific settings for concurrency, payout, hours of operation, and other rules that Ringba will follow whenever it's choosing where to send your calls. In this instance, we only have one call center on our routing plan, so Ringba will send all of the calls to this call center based on its rules. If you have calls coming in outside of the hours of operation for the example Utah call center, Ringba will drop those calls if the call center is closed and no other call centers are available. It is always best to make sure that you have multiple buyers available so that you can balance your call flow, making sure that every single call is sold. Next are your URL parameters and tracking pixels, which are only available if you're using our number pool tracking. In this demo, we will not be covering number pool tracking. Now that your campaign is set, you're ready to go. All you have to do is place this phone number on your landing page or give it to your publisher, and you can start tracking calls. If you would like to add more publishers to your campaign, click Add Publisher Number, configure the settings for your publisher, and click Add. Next, we're going to cover how to add individual publishers to your account. Click the Publishers menu and select Add Publisher. Enter your publisher or affiliate's email address, the company name, first name, last name, and decide whether or not you would like to give them the ability to add or create their own phone numbers. If your publishers add or create their own phone numbers, your account will be billed for them, so please make sure you only give this ability to your trusted publishers. If the account is for tracking other campaigns internally, put in an email address that will not be used, or use an email address at your company domain. For this example, we'll use one at ringba.com. Once a publisher is added, you'll see it in your Manage Publishers view. If you need to disable a publisher, click the Pause button, and the publisher is disabled. Any calls that now come in on this publisher's tracking phone numbers will be immediately dropped and not connected with your partners. Please keep in mind that you would typically never disable yourself, otherwise all internal call tracking numbers will be disabled. Next, let's create another target. Click the Targets menu and then Add Target. You'll see that there are quite a few configuration options for your target. We'll cover them from start to finish. First, name your target, Target 2. Then, select the owner of your target. The owner of your target is a buyer-level account that allows your targets and buyers to see all of their statistics in a Ringba account that's included for them. In this case, we don't have a buyer configured, so we'll leave it blank. Next, we add the target's phone number, including country and area code. In this case, in almost all cases, we don't delay the conversions. The timeout is the amount of time that Ringba will wait for the target to answer before attempting a connection with another target. Do keep in mind that connections typically take up to 15 seconds with phone numbers, and we recommend a standard target timeout of 20 or 30 seconds. You'll notice that a lot of targets will not always answer the phone. Ringba is unique in that it tracks all of the connection issues and target timeouts of all your targets. So once you add them and start routing calls, you most likely will see many issues with your targets. Don't let that scare you. Our account representative team will help you work through all of those issues and show you which targets have the worst connection problems and help you configure all of your targets accordingly. If you need to press an IVR prompt when your call connects, enter the code into this field, followed by a W for each half-second pause, and then the next code. In this case, when the call is connected, Ringba will automatically dial the digit 2, wait for 1 second, and then dial the digit 3. Next, we'll select the time zone, which is going to be Pacific time, and then we'll set all of the capping rules for this target. Please keep in mind that all of your capping rules are driven off of the time zone setting for the target. This target is open Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. If we need to configure the hours on a daily basis, click the Advanced button and you can configure those hours however you need. Next, we'll cover capping for your target. Capping restricts the amount of calls that your target receives based on whatever settings you configure. A global call cap sets a maximum number of calls that this target can receive for its lifetime. Once this amount has been received, Ringba will never send this target calls again until you update its settings. A monthly cap restricts the target to a set amount of calls for the entire month. Once this cap is reached, Ringba will no longer send the target any more calls until the month rolls over into the following month. A daily cap will restrict this target to a set amount of calls on a daily basis. Once this target receives 50 calls for the day, it will no longer receive any more calls. At 12 in the morning, based on the time zone setting above, this target will start to receive calls again until it hits its daily cap. By setting an hourly cap, Ringba will only send 10 calls per hour to this target. Once the call cap of 10 has been reached, Ringba will no longer send calls to this target for the hour. Once the next hour begins, Ringba will start to send calls again. A concurrency cap is the maximum number of simultaneous calls that a target can receive. In this example, we've set the concurrency cap to 5. If this target has 5 live calls, it will no longer be eligible to receive any more. Once a call is completed or disconnects, it becomes eligible again and will start receiving calls. It's always best to contact your targets and find out how many simultaneous concurrent calls it can take at any given time. You do not want to send too many calls to your target because if they're unavailable, don't answer the phone, those calls can potentially disconnect when you could have sold them to another center. You also can configure your concurrency on an hourly basis. This allows you to set specific concurrency depending on the hour of the day and configure Ringba to send your target calls when they actually have agents available. We usually see that most targets have lower concurrency in the early hours of the day and late hours of the evening when they have shorter shifts. We also notice that a lot of calls get dropped during lunch hours. So if you can find out what your concurrencies are at your targets and when they have lunch, you'll be able to make sure that you don't drop any calls when they don't have agents available. Should you need to configure concurrency on an hourly basis for every day of the week, click the Advanced button and you can set your concurrency all the way across the board on a daily basis. Now that we've configured this target, we will click Add, and you can see that the target has been successfully created. You see the target has been added to your Manage Targets view and is now eligible to be added to your campaigns. Let's go back and add this target to your current campaign. We scroll down to the routing plan, and next to the target, we click Add. This allows you to set individual priority and weight for the target, conversion criteria, and the amount of money you receive whenever your conversion criteria is met. The duplicate conversion settings for your target specify when the target will pay you for a duplicate call. If this is enabled, your target will pay for every single call that's connected regardless if it's a duplicate or not. If it's disabled, the target will not pay for any duplicate calls, and if you set a time limit, which we recommend, the target will pay for duplicate calls based on whatever your time limit is. In this example, I've set it to be 1 day. So this target will pay for an individual unique caller every day that that caller calls. Now that we have 2 targets added to this campaign, if one target is no longer available, the calls will route to the second target. Ringba routes all of its calls by priority and weight in your routing plan. As you can see, both of these call centers have the same priority and the same weight, so Ringba will route calls between them equally as long as they have availability based on hours and capping. Think of weight as a second priority that allows you to group your targets together to make sure that you make the maximum amount per call. For instance, if you have multiple targets that are paying you $10 per call and multiple targets that are paying you $8 per call, you can set the priority of all the $10 targets to 1 and all the $8 targets to 2, adjust the weights so that calls go in order, and Ringba will waterfall all your calls to make sure that you make the maximum amount of money per call whenever your call center availability allows it. And keep in mind, anytime you adjust any setting in the Ringba platform, it takes effect immediately. And now that we've learned how to configure a campaign successfully, we'll do a quick overview of the reporting interface. To view the reporting interface, click the reporting menu and then click Today. The reporting interface is broken down into 4 sections: the settings, charting, call grouping, and call details. At the top, you can adjust the time zone settings, the date, hide sections of the reporting, turn on auto refresh to use your reporting as a dashboard, click refresh to refresh the statistics, or adding filters and saving reports. Anytime you save a report, it will show up right here on the main menu so you can jump to it at any time. To change the granularity of your chart, simply click hour, day, or month. To add and remove sections of your chart, click the Events menu and select the checkboxes for the items you would like to see. Anytime you temporarily would like to hide an item on your chart, click the name and it will hide it from view. In the Calls section, we group together all the totals for your calls and give you a breakdown of what happened inside the Ringba system. The Calls section allows you to group all of your statistics by campaign, publisher, number pool, inbound tracking number, whether they're a duplicate or not, the date, and all of your call attribution tags for number pools. The Call Details section allows you to see all the individual information about your calls, what happened, all the events, and all of your attribution data, and also allows you to listen to your call recordings. All of the calls are tagged with a specific color so you can easily identify issues. Live calls are green, blocked calls are red, completed without conversion are yellow, and completed with conversion are white. As you can see, my phone call met the conversion criteria and was flagged white. To see individual specific information about this call, expand the row. Here you will see all of the available information we have about your call, all of the call IDs, the publisher, when it was completed, when it was connected, the length, the campaign, all of the payout information, the caller ID of the caller, the number that was dialed, all of the attribution data, the URL to download the recording, the target ID, and how much you were billed for the call. To listen to the call, click play, and a player will show up in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. The audio will automatically start playing, but you can pause and skip around in the recording to find what information you're looking for. You can also speed up the playback of the recording to quickly review any calls for compliance purposes. If you'd like to download the call, just click the download button and the recording will instantly download. If you would like more information about campaigns, targets, publishers, or the reporting interface, please check out our deep dive videos where we go into specifics on configuration and every single option that's available inside the platform. Thank you again for joining us. We look forward to helping your business grow. If you have any questions, please feel free to click the chat icon, and one of our dedicated account managers would be more than happy to assist you in any way. This concludes our general overview of the Ringba platform.